Alright, okay. Woo! Can I do that? You can actually see my face now. Oh my god. I followed my partner to New York. We broke up and I moved back to my hometown. Turns out it was just what I needed. When my partner got into graduate school in New York City, I saw it as the perfect chance to escape my hometown. I'd been in Atlanta my whole life and was ready for something new. Plus, my partner lived in a more rural area, so the first 6 months of our relationship had been long distance. In love, eager to leave Georgia, and ready to spend more time with my partner, I followed them to New York. We filled a U-Haul with all our belongings, drove 18 hours to Brooklyn, and moved into a one-bedroom apartment. Not long after, they broke up with me. The reality of living together for the remainder of our lease hit hard. The walls carried too many memories, and I could faintly hear the repetition of our arguments play through my head every time I opened the door to our apartment. So 3 days after the split, I filled a backpack, borrowed a suitcase from my ex, and booked a one-way flight to my hometown. I told myself the move was temporary, that I was just going home until our lease was up, but something in me knew that I needed more than just distance. I needed restoration. The first thing I did when I touched down in Atlanta was Google what do I do after a breakup. Personally, if you ask me, the old saying is you fall off the horse, you get right back up on and try again. More on that later. After reading many advice articles, I realized I needed a good support system. So I downloaded friendship making apps and reached out to old friends from middle school. I reconnected with the friend group I'd left behind when I moved and even tried a community speed friendly event. It was more fun than I expected. Though moving back home felt like a setback at first, I pushed myself to rediscover Atlanta. I walked around the Beltline on warm afternoons and spent evenings at local food festivals and parties. The city's sunny weather made it easy for me to embrace the outdoors, practicing yoga at local parks and taking long daily walks. I had a lot of work to do, so I went to therapy, spent time with my family, and even took myself on solo dates. Can I just point something out? Speed friending, solo dates? What are you doing? I got a gym membership and started to focus on my fitness journey. At first, I was just hoping to fill my days, but I soon started to enjoy the stillness and solitude of spending so much time by myself. For the first time in years, I was alone in a way that didn't feel lonely. Okay, hot take. You can't tell me that if you found the perfect partner and you both get along super great, if that was the scenario, you can't tell me that being alone would be better than that. Actually, you know what? Not even the perfect relationship. Like, if you two communicate, have a good time, yeah, I understand. If it's the worst of the worst, if you two are just together and you know for a darn fact you should be together, yeah, I guess being single would be better than that. But for the most part, you can't convince me, like, even a stable relationship where you communicate most of the time and you enjoy each other's company, which is most relationships. You can't tell me that being alone would be better than a standard relationship. I refuse to believe that. The experience taught me that home isn't always something to escape. It can be something to rediscover. Moving back to Atlanta helped me see the beauty in my community and city, and it also made me see the beauty within myself. It was nice to focus on my own needs and desires, and I realized I was whole with or without a partner. In many ways, I wasn't just returned to my hometown when I moved, I was returned to myself. Do you want to know something? Lady who wrote this article on Business Insider, I like to focus on myself too, occasionally. Like for the first time, that's not true, for the second time, 1.5 times, The first time, it was me and my brother. We both drove up. We both took turns driving to Virginia from Massachusetts. The second time I drove up to Virginia by myself. Honestly, it's only 13 hours away. And you want to know something else? Boom. Massachusetts to Georgia, 16 hours and 59 minutes, almost 17 hours. And literally, I'm going to have all the next summer off. So hey, if you want to cut the solo dates and you want to get serious about building a little community of 4, if you know what I mean, just hit me up, 978-654-0296. Once again, that's 978-654-0296. My actual phone right here. My other device, I was reading the news article off of. Because for real, that's what I want. I think it's time for me to get serious. I think it's time for me to become a father. I think it's time for me to do something with my life. I wouldn't necessarily call them solo dates, but sometimes I would go to a restaurant and have a snack or whatever. Yeah, a snack. I just go to a restaurant and just have a meal, have a drink or whatever, maybe a couple lemonades. We're just going to finish this quest. See if we can finish it real quick, alright? Alright, well. Come on, dude. There we go. Let's do it. Come on! What's taking so long, dude? Oh. This gonna be it? Okay. We got any more? Another one? I want 3 of them right off the bat. Last one, please. Another one? This is the last one, please. Turn this quest real quick. And that's the end of the video.